The biggest weeb in history, invented in. Well, we'll get to it. Now, I know some of you watching are pressed over the fact that someone else out there has claimed the title you have worked so hard for. Always talking about your BNHAs and your JOJOs and your AOTs. Like, yo, did you watch that last episode? Dude, the Warhammer Titan was totally fucking up the 18-wheeler Titan, and then they both got fucked up when the Glock Titan pulled up and started letting that hammer fly, and then the Monkey Titan had to come and save their asses. Man, shut the fuck up. Maybe if you'd stop talking about Attack on Titan, you'd stop lacking on bitches. Think of everything that composes the modern weeb. Every aspect that makes up their being can be traced back to one single entity, the biggest weeb in history. The original weeb, the man who established the iconic traditions of weebdom, was none other than one William Adams. Of course, this weeb-ass motherfucker has the most generic name possible in the English language. How could it be any other way? William Adams was a British... of course. Weebs, like every other bad thing in the known universe, originated in Britain. That's a topic for a future video. Why everything is Britain's fault. That'll probably be the one Misinformed video for April. Sorry, I can't get through a single sentence without getting sidetracked. I'm blaming that on Britain too. Adams was a director, or whatever the dude who drives the boat is called. Whatever title Francis Drake and Kodak Black have. In 1598, he led a fleet of 5 ships and 100 men. The expedition went about as perfect as it could have gone. By the time they got to where they were going, they had only lost 4 ships and about 80 men. Not bad. The remaining 10 men, sailed, if you could call it that, really more like lazily drifted, into a Japanese coastline in 1600. There...
Wait. Where did the other 10 men go?
What?
You said they started with 100 men, lost 80 men on the way, and then arrived with 10 men. Where did the other 10 men go?
Well, you see, by the time they arrived, most of them had been suffering from a fever for about 13 months, and they had resorted to eating leather and sucking on ship planks to try and stave off starvation. So while, yes, technically there were 20 of them, I think it's fair to say they weren't operating at 100%. Given their constitution, I think 10 men is a much more fair reflection of their state of being. So yes, they started with 100 men, lost 80 on the way, and arrived with 10.
You're a fucking moron.
As the first Europeans to reach Japan, Adams and the 9.5 other men made quite a lasting impression. Well, I say first Europeans there, but Portuguese Jesuits were technically already there. But that's not fair. I'm pretty sure Portuguese Jesuits were in Japan before any Japanese people. Look up any type of exploration or expedition. I guarantee you they ran into a group of Portuguese people as soon as they got there, all of them talking about how cool baby Jesus is. The Vikings landing in North America? Portuguese Jesuits. First ever Arctic expedition? Portuguese Jesuits. Exploring the depths of Mariana Trench? Portuguese Jesuits. The moon landing? Portuguese Jesuits. They're like tardigrades. They're fucking everywhere. They're woven into the fabric of reality. You can't get rid of them. Anyway, the Japanese locals reasonably mistook the shambling sickly sailors to be onryos of men lost at sea, so they threw them in the ghost jail, which can be found in the center of all Japanese towns. When Adams finally got a solid grasp of his consciousness, he found himself surrounded by people speaking an unfamiliar tongue who all had a strange fashion sense, and all the buildings around him were pointier than he was accustomed to. And he thought, shit, I'm in Romania. Shogun Tokugawa Tokugawa Yasuo was called to decide what should be done with these specters. When he showed up and was informed of their origins, he went, oh, sweet, ghost sailors, that's perfect. Hey, any of you ghosts know how to build boats real good? And Adams raised his hand and was like, yeah, I can do that. This was the inciting incident for William Adams to go on and, well, first realize he wasn't in Romania, but more to the point, become a massive weeaboo. After proving himself to not only not be a ghost, but in fact a living, breathing, capable boat guy, Adams became a close advisor to the shogun. Eventually, Adams was granted the title of samurai, which was clearly a huge mistake, because from this new position, Adams established many pillars of weebdom that are still practiced today, such as never shutting the fuck up. Of the original crew, Adams was the only one to stay in Japan. Why do you think that was? You think all the other dudes were just really looking forward to another 2-year, no-pussy, scurvy-filled boat ride? No, of course not. It's because Adams wouldn't stop talking about how cool everything in Japan is, and showing everyone his epic katana moves, and talking about how much he wanted to fuck paintings. Modern weebs have a tendency to not even try romancing real, actual people. Real human beings have to be given attention and sustenance quite frequently. It's a big responsibility. And you also can't just mod in your perfect waifu in the flesh world, so what's even the point of getting out there? Adams, on the other hand, already had a wife and 2 children by the time he gave up on desires of the flesh. He wrote a letter back to his wife explaining his newfound dedication to the way of the blade, knowing she would fully understand. She did not understand. Adams completed his transformation into the original Weeb by adopting a personal fanfiction, complete with a new name, backstory, love interest, so on and so on. He became known as Miura Ainjin, after his original proposed name of Chitsusureya Rokuju Q was denied by the Shogun. Obviously. His new backstory became a tale about how he was the West's best sword boy and was misunderstood by everyone around him in his youth, and it wasn't until he was well into adulthood that the universe delivered him to where he was meant to be. Of course, he then spent every waking moment, and most sleeping moments, decked out in full samurai armor, despite, not doing much samurai stuff most of the time, so he was more like a really enthusiastic cosplayer. And then he married a painting of a woman named Oyuki to top it off. Now, with all his pieces in order, Adams could finally get to work doing what weebs arguably do best: gatekeeping his newly found lifelong interest in Japanese culture from other non-Japanese people. Adams did everything in his power to make sure other Europeans did not feel welcomed and could never rise to match his position, because of course, they could never share his deep, benevolent, eternal, kind of creepy love of Japan. Despite being a filthy, loathsome weeb, I do have to show some respect for Adams, because unlike you modern weebs having everything handed to you, learning Japanese by reading subtitles on anime, Adams had to learn it the old-fashioned way, by having some Portuguese dude read the Bible at him in Japanese for 13 hours a day, and he couldn't just go online and have access to more anime titties than one human could even theoretically perceive in a single lifetime. No. Instead, his only option was to commission artists to draw whatever sick filth he was into that week. Also, he couldn't use an anime avatar. Anytime he gave a stupid opinion, he had to put his stupid face behind it, instead of a picture of his favorite Idolmaster character or some shit. And he also did some big sailing here and there too, I guess. But fuck that guy for being the progenitor of a grand terror in this modern world. Okay, that's the end of the video. Bye. Oh, before I go. I started streaming back in like November and then just never talked about it here. So, twitch.tv/very misinformed. It's a great place to yell at me about why the next video is so late. So, go follow that if you want. Or don't if you don't want. It's whatever. And now a word from some of my patrons. Bamboo. I love you, Misinformed. Thanks. Dylan. I know a few things about weebs, but I am familiar with Chris Chan, who once created the Sonichu comics, and by God, is that the greatest manga I've ever read. Fish in a barrel. Maybe the real weebs are the friends we made along the way. My name is Kerr. Kono bidio ni itta koto ni mo kakawarazu, sekai turakishi de ichiban no weebu wa Kiya-sama. Something like that, maybe. Nerd juice. It doesn't matter how big your manga collection is, or how many katanas you own. The only thing that matters is how much JoJo you can consume before dying. P.S. John, play Skullgirls. Agrippa de Rippa said to just use this picture. So, here. This picture.